I just have curly hair today for some reason. I put my hair in a claw clip and now it's extremely frizzy and all. This is what happens if straight hair goes into a claw clip for the entire day. It starts poking up. Anyway, I was in the middle of watching a movie, but I remembered that I didn't film Boys Planet yet. So we're gonna be doing that today. Woohoo! My hair really bothers me. What the heck? It's giving Einstein. Okay, maybe I should put it back. No, that's weird. Okay, let's just keep it like this. Okay, so we're going to be reviewing episode 5, and episode 5 is Eliminations, guys. Oh my goodness, it was 3 hours long, so it was quite the commitment, but I think it actually took me like an hour to watch the entire thing because I was just skipping the entire thing. Elimination rounds, that's what you do. I think that's just like a rule. If you're someone who just sits through the entire 3 hours, especially if it's not on live television, you might want to check up on that. Okay. I just thought it was so weird how there were so many Star Masters. And if you forget, Star Masters are the ones that essentially MC the entire show. But there's been Minhyun, there's been Sunmi-ish, I don't know. And then lastly, there's Yojingu, who was an actual MC. I think they also called it Star Master back then as well for Girls Planet. And I don't know, they like switch every time. So it was really interesting. And I was skipping a lot throughout the entire episode, so I could have missed a few things here and there. But what I really appreciated about this episode was the Kamden screen time. Oh my goodness, I thought I was dreaming because they suddenly started showing his reaction. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is a completely different show. But no, I'm really happy that Mnet is starting to push him out. Honestly, they didn't have to give him that Christian Kamden storyline, yet they did. So thanks to Mnet on that part, I guess. I'm not satisfied with them though right now, so you'll be able to hear it later. Anyway, as you'll be able to tell, my top pick right now is actually Kamden. Like, I'm actually like voting for him every day, and I think he's above my other picks. Like, it used to be Song Matthew and Ollie. Like, he's way above now. Just the way it is, I guess. And I just find it really sad how he's so underrated, and basically people only know him for this issue, but if you actually look at his fan cams, which are extremely lowly viewed, go check it out if you want. But he's actually really talented as well, and I really hope to hear more of his voice because he did not get a lot of lines. Like, we heard his rapping in the audition round when he sang or rapped Rush Hour with Jay, but I want to hear his vocals as well. Oh, my computer died. Oh, hello. Okay, yeah, okay. I don't like elimination rounds. Firstly, they're sad. Although I did not cry for this episode, it was really sad. And honestly, I don't think it was like the worst elimination or the most dramatic one. However, the way they tried to long it out was so frustrating. Like Yojingu going, this person is born in May. Like, okay, hello, we don't need to know this information. Like, I don't know. He's really good at that, I guess. He's good at the long, drawn out eliminations, and yeah, it's just not my style, and I hope they just kind of make it more fast paced. Obviously, some suspense is okay, but for every single person, it gets a little bit repetitive almost. And there was this part where Yojingu made Takuto do his little Tonaka Takuto, that thing, while in tears, while basically he was the only one that survived out of his entire group. That is so sad, actually. And there were a lot of groups like that too. I think it was the Burn It Up groups, like there were barely any survivors from either K group or G group, which is extremely upsetting. But I guess that's just what happens when half the contestants are eliminated in one episode, right? And I'm honestly somewhat glad because it was kind of predictable as to who would survive and who wouldn't. There weren't one of those like, this person didn't make it in as compared to Girls Planet where there were a lot of surprises as to who got eliminated for a certain round. But it may be because it's only the first elimination, and there's obviously more to come, and I'm sure those will be more surprising as they arrive. Unfortunately, that is. Okay, and then we move on to like this little break section where they show a dance battle between K group and G group, and one of the dance battles was Chaungi. And If you guys don't know, he's like already debuted, and he actually has quite a bit of a fan base as well. But Mnet doesn't really push him out. However, he got screen time this episode, which was really, really great, and everyone loves him for being girly pop. But for me, I personally really like his dancing. I honestly didn't notice it that much before, just because he never really got screen time. But it's actually really clear and precise. So good for him. I'm hoping that he makes it to the next elimination. Is it too early to start thinking of that? Also, how many people do you think they'll eliminate next episode? Because I guess for Girls Planet, gosh, I don't even remember how many people they eliminated for the second round. If you know, let me know. I'm gonna assume maybe 25 to 30 people make it into the next round. I don't know, we'll see. And then there's that guy who during this dance break, in the first episode, oh my god, my hair is really bothering me. In the first episode, he was a guy who had like that long little pole. I'm contradicting myself. Long pole, and he shocked everyone with his like pole twirling skills. And later when he did the dance break, he was just like doing that with his arms, but really, really fast. It almost scared me. But he's good at that. Not gonna lie, I've kind of forgotten about him since the first episode, but that's okay. And oh, this gets into controversial stuff. Not gonna lie, this episode there wasn't much to talk about because it was just people being eliminated and then, people getting eliminated. Yeah. And people surviving, I guess, and like their little thank you statements. Although a lot of thank you statements were skipped, and the fact that it's 3 hours long, oh my goodness. I do appreciate the editors for what they do, like apart from the evil editing stuff, like it must be really difficult to edit this entire show. But at the same time, it's their job, so I don't know why I'm worrying for them. And actually, before we move on to the controversial, deep, heavy stuff that I honestly don't want to get into right now because I'm in a pretty good mood and I don't want to ruin it by this, because when I was typing it, oh, I was furious. Okay, before we get into that, I think there's another trainee that's actually kind of popping off lately, and his name is Chabo. Actually, don't know his last name. Anyway, that's his name, and he's like gaining a lot of popularity on TikTok for side-eyeing. Well, not side-eyeing, and it's like he's just so funny. He was in the G group Backdoor, and he was the one side-eyeing Christian every time he spoke, and I think he initially gained some, I don't know, response from that, and then a lot of people also found him really cute. But yeah, no, I like him as well. I don't know if I'm gonna vote right now for him. I'll show my picks later on because now they switched from 9 picks to 6 picks, right? Which honestly slightly is better for me because then I think my top picks narrow down to exactly 6, which is great. So I don't have to like sacrifice someone or add in someone that is kind of like a filler vote, I guess. But if I were to have a filler vote, it would definitely be hanbin because like he's gonna stay at the top. So because if I vote for him, it's not really gonna impact my other votes, right? As compared to other ones. But yeah. And before we get into this stuff, you can really tell that I'm trying to stall this out because I really don't want to talk about it. But a lot of the eliminated contestants from Boys Planet actually made Instagram accounts. And if you look at Hyo's Instagram account, he's the guy that was a universe, like a Pentagon fan. I have to elaborate every time just in case someone doesn't know. But no, he made an Instagram account and he follows like 13 people. I don't know about now, but he followed 13 people yesterday, and 9 of them are literally the Pentagon members. It's so cute. And also, there were a lot of people that made Instagram accounts, but particularly there's like Ichika, there's Yuto, other people. Oh my god, I'm so sad that Yuto got eliminated. I think him and Chang are the only people that I'm somewhat upset that they got eliminated because Yuto, I think he just didn't get enough screen time. If his performance was in the first episode, or the second episode that is, I think he definitely would have made it into the elimination. I don't know. He was actually quite low on the ranking, so perhaps not. And he's just really talented, and he's got great stage presence, so it's a little bit sad that he's gone, but I don't know. It could be worse, I guess. And then Chang was also one of my votes. I didn't really like him. I just kind of liked him just from his reaction, so I guess I'm not terribly upset. But I've just been voting for him every single day, so I guess my voting was for nothing somewhat. But that's what voting is. Your opinions don't always get what they want. Okay. I think it's now time to get into the heavy stuff, and obviously this video is going to be shorter because I don't have much to talk, like there's not much content in here. So let's talk about the CA portion, where, to give some context if you haven't watched that part yet, essentially MNET does like a little break from the eliminations and shows a small little fun prank that MNET pulled on the trainees, like each of the groups. And the prank was, we're gonna give you like a specific part of your outfit that you have to wear, but that part of your outfit is somewhat ridiculous to a sense, you know, like one of the boys got feathers on his arms, and then I forgot what the third group got, but it was something like silly, I guess you could say. And the Love Me Right K group, if you don't remember, that is Hui's group, also got one of these silly props to wear, and it's honestly a little bit insulting, I guess. Insulting to them, to the boys, because they are essentially set up. Like if MNET or, you know, the stylists tell them to wear something, especially because they're trainees, they have to wear that. And you can see online like what that specific thing was. It was almost like a war headwear is what people were saying, and you know, I don't know the exact terminology for it, but it's CA, guys, cultural appropriation. And it's just so obvious how the entire team felt so uncomfortable about it. And it wasn't like I don't want to wear that. It was like a genuinely uncomfortable, like, is it okay if we wear this? That kind of expression. And I'm actually really glad that they're aware of this, and it makes sense because so many K-pop idols are getting canceled for it, so it makes sense that these companies would educate their trainees to a certain extent, especially if they're on a survival show where MNET can set them up to make it seem like they are doing cultural appropriation or whatever that may be that is cancelable, essentially. And like, just compare the K group Love Me Right team to like the other groups. Oh my goodness, like their reactions are just, it's just so sad, honestly. It's so sad that they have to be edited like this. Not necessarily editing, because who's at fault here? Probably the writer for this show, because to every reality show there's a writer that essentially makes the plot of the entire thing, and these little pranks are probably written by the writers as well. And it's just like not okay. And so many people were hating on Hui for it, saying that why was he so accepting of it. And those people were totally just taking one picture out of context, him wearing it, rather than seeing the whole video where Hui was essentially just saying, is this okay? Like, I don't want to wear this. Like, he was just denying it. It was so obvious. And they also showed the reactions of the boys reacting to themselves, essentially. And it's so obvious that Hui just was like not here for it, but he was still smiling because, you know, he has to. And it's just so sad how you're just like, it's just so cancelable, honestly, because if you're smiling, then it's like, oh my god, this person supports CA, and then you're not smiling, it's like, oh my god, why aren't they smiling? You know, it's just so it's just a sticky situation to be in. And I honestly feel so bad for the people on Twitter like defending Hui. And like, I personally don't tweet myself, I just look at tweets, and I think it's just really unfortunate that that has to be a case where CA is a joke in 2023. Like, come on, do better than that. And that shouldn't be something like a prank, right? Like, they've proved themselves that they can do harmless pranks. They can do like the ghost prank where, you know, the ghost comes out from the bottom of the table, and they can do like the wigs on arms thing. Like, that was funny. That was genuinely funny because none of the people that wore the thing seemed uncomfortable, and it was genuinely funny because it had nothing to do with almost appropriating one's culture. It was simply just pink wigs, I think it was, like on the arms, and that one was okay. So I don't know why they had to specifically choose Kyuvian and Hui to do that. Like, they're not even the center, so it makes no sense that they would be wearing such a thing, you know, that almost makes them stand out from the others. And it's so obvious how Mnet specifically targeted Hui, and I don't mean to be like hyper, you know, defending Hui in a sense and saying that, oh my god, Mnet treats him like crap. But at the same time, Hui is the reason why Boys Planet got interest in the first place. Like, for Girls Planet, if I were to compare, the reason why that gained popularity is because of Yujin and Fuyaning and Yujin's issue of them, you know, fighting. And you know, we go up but you don't. That was the viral thing that made the show go more popular and made people want to watch it. For Boys Planet, that issue was Hui, and because of Hui, it gained more attention. Like, oh my god, this 6-year plus idol is joining a survival show. That's crazy. And then people gained more interest about the show, and then, you know, Ricky kind of got viral, and things followed like that, right? So basically, Hui saved them almost. You know, without him, Boys Planet wouldn't have been that successful in my opinion. And you know, that would work for any, like, replace him with any big K-pop idol, you know, who isn't like super popular, but still someone at his level, I guess you could say. And yeah, I don't know, if I were MNET, I would be thanking him and, you know, treating him well, not setting him up to do CA. Like, it's just not okay. And I don't think I have to elaborate more on this. If you have sensible brain cells, I think you know that this is not okay. And also, you should not hate on Hui. If you are doing that, please stop. If it's anyone's fault, it's MNET. And I'm typically not one to blame a certain thing on one person, but this is so blatantly obvious that it's whoever made this plot of a prank. You know, it just makes me so frustrated, and I just wanted to communicate that. And yeah, just know that these trainees don't get a say in what they want to wear or what they don't. If they deny something, they're basically pulling an Irene and becoming more cancelable. So just watching that part of the episode made me want to rant in Korean. That's what I want to do when I get angry, and it just wanted to rip my lungs out or something like that. Anyway, let's talk about the more happy things now. Let me take a sip of water. I know, it's so big. Thermo flask? Yeah. It actually says Alyssa at the bottom because this is Alyssa's water bottle, but my glass water bottle broke. Anyway, I was actually a little bit scared that Kamden wouldn't make it, and I know it just seems like I really like Kamden, but I do. But no, he survived, and I was so happy for him. You know what? He didn't seem so happy though, but that's his normal expression. You should have seen his reaction to Hui putting on, like, the CA. Yeah, he was not impressed. Honestly, he never looks impressed, and that's just what's so funny about him. He almost reminds me of Shinon in a way. Don't know, maybe he'll become a DJ host one day and be a model. Shinon's a model, by the way. Anyway, I think Towon is also gaining a lot of popularity, and he's actually the only Nine member left, and Nine is a K-pop group. He was already debuted, but gosh, this man knows how to do his reactions. Like, he's perfectly set up for that so that he knows what to say to not be cut out by editing, and he just knows it so well and does it so well. And his expressions, his reactions to everything is always solid. So it kind of makes sense as to why MNET gives him a lot of screen time. Yeah. And I think I also really like Yoon Jong-ho. And Yoon Jong-ho, if you don't know, is the guy with the headband in the K-group backdoor. He almost reminds me of Kamden in a way. Maybe it's because they were both wearing headbands. I don't know. He's cool though. His stage presence and his dancing is really good. And I keep getting the backdoor, you know, the K-group performances on my FYP. I think they were on Studio Chum, they were on M Countdown. So wow, that gives them a big boost. And yeah, how was it chosen? I totally forgot. Cause was it like the one with the most votes probably? Okay, anyway. It was kind of funny as to MNET giving screen time to those who were already eliminated. Like, why are you giving screen time to Hyo now? It just doesn't make sense. Anyway. And I also wanted to talk about, you know, the top 9 now. So if I'm not correct, I think 9 was J, 8 was... okay, you know what? I'm not gonna say it because it might be inaccurate. But anyway, I think top like 4 or 3 is Han Yujin. And Han Yujin is an 07 liner, if you didn't know. And he is kind of a child. And a lot of people on the internet, just in general, apart from Boys Planet, are like, you shouldn't debut minors companies. You shouldn't do that because it's immoral. They need their childhood, and they can debut when they're younger. Their talent isn't going to go away. Their visuals aren't going to go away in a couple of years. So just wait until they are 18 or something closer to that so that they can debut. But when the choice is in your hands, you start voting for these minors that are probably way too young to debut. '07 liners. So it makes me wonder what people are truly thinking. Like, do you want minors to debut? Do you not want it? Like, choose one. Because for me, I'm personally, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Han Yujin, so that kind of contributes to it. So it kind of, I don't know, might be slightly, I don't want to say biased, because, you know, bias would typically mean that I love Han Yujin. But no, I think even if I had a pick that was this young, I don't think I'll be voting for him, and especially if it's in the top 9. And you might be saying, Irene, but you're voting for Ollie, and he is '06, so it's like closer. But I think it's a little bit different because Ollie is not in the top 9 and not even close. And realistically speaking, he's probably not going to make it. I'm just voting for him so that he can, you know, continue on to the next rounds. And I definitely don't mean this to like offend him. Obviously, he's one of my top picks, so it would make no sense for me to do so. But there's actually a very, very solid chance that Han Yujin will debut. And seeing from the pressure that he's already received, it just makes sense as to that he can't really take it. You know, that's just what MNET is showing. Obviously, Ollie could be going through the same situation and we don't know. However, Yujin, it's blatantly obvious that he is quite young for this, and, you know, it's probably just not the best decision because he's not the most mature individual yet and he's not grown up. So I just wanted to leave that thought. I just thought it was interesting how, you know, K-pop stans are all for not debuting minors, and once they do debut, they support them. So, you know, it's like the New Jean situation where people hate Beanie Jean because she is known for sexualizing, and the members, yeah, and like the concept, everything, yet they still stand New Jeans and, you know, support their work, which means you're supporting Min Hee Jin's work. So it's just interesting how that works, I guess. Like, people can't choose sides, and I'm not saying people as a general thing, I guess, because everyone has their own beliefs. You know, it could be split, but I just feel like it just always goes to one when it comes to a certain issue. So like on the topic of debuting minors, everyone disagrees with that. But when it comes to supporting minors, people are supporting. So, you know, I'm just a little bit confused is what I wanted to express. Next. I love how everyone just knows that Song Hanbin is gonna be number 1. And if you actually look at his dancing videos on TikTok, like his past pre-debut videos, you'd be surprised. He almost exudes a different like persona. He looks like really almost sassy and extremely outgoing and extremely loud in those past videos. But in Boys Planet, he seems like one of those very Chaonu-like boys where, you know, I'm not going to say cold, but he definitely seems a lot more reserved and less sassy than you would think. So yeah, that one's just confusing as well. But no, he actually slays all the time. His dancing is really, really good. And what do you call it? His tutting? Tutting is really good as well. That's about it. Oh, and there was this last part where Nice was like 예쁘다 없어요, because his line, iconic line, was always saying 예쁘다. Yeah, that part was kind of funny, but also sad at the same time. Bittersweet. I honestly didn't think that Mnet would make a whole episode out of purely just eliminations, but I guess that's how it worked. And that's all I have to share, except now I've got to share my votes. So let me pull up my screenshot from today. So I actually already shared this on my Instagram, but I guess I will just repeat it again. Let me go into my archives. I think I deleted the screenshot. Ah, yes. Okay, so this is what I shared on Instagram. So first is kamden. I'll just go in order of who I'm supporting most, I guess. kamden, and then there's taek, and then there is, I don't know, after these two, the lines kind of get blurry because there's Ollie, Sewon, Lee Dong-gun, and Seok Matthew. So those are my top 6. I would definitely say Kamden, Lee Taek, and then the rest are almost similar to one another at this point. So that's that. I don't know. A lot of actually universes stopped voting for Hui, and they expressed that because after the whole CA situation, they were like, I don't think it's the best decision for Hui to move on. I'm honestly quite conflicted. You guys know that I'm very much so influenced easily, so if you are voting for Hui, let me know your thoughts as to why. And obviously, you have to be supporting him. And if you aren't voting for Hui, also let me know why, because I'm curious to know your thoughts. I just want what's best for him and best for Pentagon. So, on that note, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode review of Boys Planet.